Zodiac Collective. Let's get into a reading. So if you guys need anything, you can check it out down below. I have personal readings. Patreon and channel members get to see these first. I do have my Pinterest and Instagram down there if you ever want to keep up with that. My Oracle cards are down there for sale. I may use those in this reading. So we're just going to see what's coming out for you in your past, your present, and your future, okay? Keep an open mind. This may or may not resonate for you. So you could have left something behind. Left something behind in your past. Let's see. I just heard, tell them we're giving them permission. Permission to do what they're scared of. Permission around what's been on their heart. Permission to go after that job. To take that vacation. To do the thing that they're scared of. To go talk to that person that they're terrified of being rejected by. So in the past, I see you maybe exploring something that you felt very passionate about, but I also see that there could have been extremes, which resulted in you leaving. So this could have been a relationship, a job. I see you being very enthusiastic and I see you being optimistic. I see you being like, you know what, it's going to pay off, Danielle. But I'm seeing that it might not have. I'm seeing again that there could have been extremes in the giving and the receiving, which resulted in you feeling like it was time to move on. I'm not getting what I need here, Danielle. I'm giving more than I'm getting. I don't feel like I'm getting recognized for all the work that I do. It led you to make a change. If you left anyone behind, I feel like you could have felt very loyal to them. So much so, some of you could still look this person up or still think about them. Because this dog is turned around looking back. So if you felt loyal to like a job, you could maybe still go there. You could maybe still talk to the people that work there. If it was like a restaurant, you could maybe still go eat there. If this is a lover or a person, you might still think about them. You might look them up if you have that ability just to see how they've been. That could be for some of you. Even though you left, even though you got rid of it, even though you were like, okay, I can't keep going on, it's like you still feel a sense of loyalty to it. Yeah. You could have ran out of strength here. You could have also decided to, a lot of you, the action that you took was a logical choice, not an emotional choice. You could have even reviewed your options carefully before leaving something behind. If this is a person, a place, or a thing, how do they feel with being left behind? Well, it first off made their ego come crumbling down. So if it was a job who felt like they had every right to tell you to jump and you say how high, you were the employee that was like, okay, first off, you don't own me. You pay for my time. You don't pay for me. Humble yourself. And it could have really stripped the ego of the corporation. People could now be like, oh, you know, that could be one of the reasons why we don't got nobody working here half the time is because our ego's intact. This was a lover, you could have been the reason that their ego completely crumbled. They could have not been accepting responsibility for the situation or their choices, and everything taking place could have pushed them to a place where they had to take responsibility. Now, for some of you, this was you. If you put yourself in a job where you knew you couldn't make the money that you needed to make to stay afloat, yet you acted like it wasn't your responsibility to take action to get you out of it, that come crumbling down. Same if it's a lover. If you were very enthusiastic and optimistic about something soaring and you didn't want to recognize that there was extremes in the giving and the receiving, it could have got to a point where you couldn't ignore it anymore. But that could have then also stripped the illusion that you didn't have any responsibility. You allowed them to take you on that windy, confusing road for as long as you did. You allowed the extremes in how they were giving and receiving when it come to their time, their emotions. This could have been someone who was like extra giving in their time and their emotions, but then they would take it back as well. And it's like, okay, whiplash over here. You're either giving everything or you're giving nothing. There's no in between. But you could have then got to a point where you were just craving the something that you would go through the nothing. And then you could have even got to a point where you started playing the victim instead of recognizing that this was not supporting the path to happiness. Well, if I was lovable, they would love me more. If I was pickable, they would pick me. What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. Nothing's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you, okay? So if this is this person, how do they feel? They are the kind of person where they always expect the worst. They could be losing sleep. They could also be recognizing that them expecting the worst led to the worst. So if this is a job who's like, I can't ever find employees that are half worth it. Well, do you pay them worth a damn? Or are you just hard to work for? Same if this is a lover. This could have been a lover who didn't want to accept responsibility and wanted to always pull the, everyone leaves me, nobody loves me, nobody wants to stick around. But they could be having sleepless nights now because they could be recognizing that they have the tendency to choose logical responses instead of being emotional, forthcoming, or vulnerable. And that's the reason they're at where they're at. You don't want to be vulnerable? That's fine. You don't want to be emotional? That's fine. That's what I'm saying here. All right, let's get in the current moment. Now, again, the current moment's about Spirit giving you permission. Spirit giving you permission to go after something that scares you. Spirit giving you permission to do something where it might be checking something off your bucket list. It might be having a talk with someone that you've been postponing. It might be going on that vacation by yourself solo, and maybe you're scared of it. They're saying do it. If your heart's feeling called to do it, do it. What did I just say? Independent. There's nothing you can't do. You need to believe in yourself. Do not underestimate yourself. Do not underestimate your ability to make what you want to come true. They are saying, though, for some of you, you need to balance your career and your personal life. You're very talented, you're very brilliant, but you could have the tendency to either give too much to the fun of your life or give too much to the work. It's like you don't really know how to ebb and flow them. Give me a little bit more. So in your current moment, you have wishes coming true. Good fortune. A lot of you here coming up, it's going to feel like a magical time in your life. You're going to feel like you are getting everything you want and more. You wanted to go on vacation, baby, guess what? You going on too. You don't want to travel solo, guess what? You're going to have people coming up left and right. Hey, you want to travel with us? Hey, you want to do this? Hey, you want to do that? It's like you're going to be an open book for good things to come to you. All you have to do is accept it. Be careful of being overly controlling. So much so that you put yourself in indulgent atmospheres, okay? So again, we have a repeating message. The repeating message is that you're needing to make sure that you're balancing responsibility and fun, okay? They're also saying that you could be juggling too much in your life, and that if you put too much on your plate, you're going to end up burned out here coming up. So you could be trying to conquer too much. Taking care of you, taking care of your spouse, taking care of your home, taking care of your job, taking care of family members. You could be taking care of so much that you might here come up, get sick. You might start getting headaches. You might start noticing that you are exhausted, you are depleted. It's like you go to bed, you wake up, you don't even feel like you went to sleep. Why do you feel so depleted? Because you are spreading yourself too thin. They're saying that you need to balance how much time you're giving versus how much time you're keeping to yourself. You also need to balance your budget, okay? So some of you need to go looking over your money and seeing how much you spend. Because if you really start looking at those nitty-gritty prices, you would be shocked at how much money you're spending, is what they're telling me, okay? Now, again, I see wishes coming true and I see good things happening, but they're also saying, again, this could be you working 6 days this week. Not only are you going to work 6 days this week, you're going to go out 4 nights. By the end of the week, you might be calling in because you lost your voice. You're so sick that you can't keep up. You're drowning. You're exhausted. You can't even hold your head up because you're so tired. That could be the consequences of your actions. Yes, you felt like you could put all of that on your plate. Yes, you felt like you could take care of your spouse and your kids and your home and your bills and your responsibilities, but you also wanted to live a little, but you could have got carried away. I'm seeing that, okay? So be careful of allowing yourself to do too much and then finding out that okay, so I'm getting a headache and my throat's starting to hurt. So some of you could end up getting like a sinus infection. You could end up getting like strep throat. You could end up getting something that's going to put you out on your butt for 3 to 7 days. The flu. Okay? Some of you could be getting something like that. Now, if that happens, if you end up getting sick or anything like that, they're saying that that will push you into a moment for you to be able to go through an awakening, for you to take some time to pause and to reflect. In the current moment, you're also going to notice how unique you are. You might have the ability to give people wise advice. You might have the ability to give someone guidance, wisdom, or advice, and them, it be something they never thought of. Here's an example. I was talking to someone the other day, and she was telling me a problem that she was having with her car, and she was telling me that her husband was a pain in the butt and wouldn't deal with it. And I was like, girl, go on Google, put what's going on with your car and just search. And she just looked at me and was like, how did I not think of that? I don't know. There you go. The reason she didn't think of that is because she's not lived life the way that I had to. I don't have a husband to look at and be like, yo, honey, what's wrong with my car? I have to figure it out. Sometimes the advice that we give to others is advice that comes naturally to us because we live a different life. Same for her. She can give me advice that her and her husband have maybe come to terms with that I wouldn't even recognize because I don't have a husband. When you go through different paths in life, you're able to give advice and guidance differently if you've not went on their path. So that's what I'm getting here. Some of you might be able to give a lot of like wise counsel, good advice. Some of you, you're going to have an opportunity to get something new here coming up. This could be giving to a new charity. This could be getting a new lawyer. Some of you could need like counsel and you could end up hiring a new lawyer. For some of you, this is a contract you're going to sign. So this could be a loan for a home, a loan for a car. This could just be a loan, just a random pay loan. I'm saying that you might do that here coming up as well. Now, if you end up taking out a loan, make sure that you don't take something out that you can't afford. So let's say that you take out a loan and you didn't go through your money and you don't know how much you can afford back into a loan. You might notice that if you do that, or if you buy a home and you don't know if you can afford it, they'll tell you that you can afford so much, but that doesn't mean that you can afford that. Same for a car. Just because you can go in and get approved for a brand new $600 a month car doesn't mean you can afford that brand new $600 a month car. Some of you need to be careful of going in and signing on the dotted line for you to recognize later down the road that it's going to stress you out and put more on your plate than what you want to handle. So you might end up having to get an extra job to pay it. You might end up having to take on some extra hours to pay it. It might end up stressing you out and then lead to health problems like headaches, exhaustion, stress snaps, things like that might end up taking place because you were not willing to maybe refocus your thoughts and recognize that that's not the only solution. Okay, example, I need this right now. My TV broke, I need it right now. Do you need it right now, or can you just watch your phone for a few months? You might get so set in I need it that you then go sign for a loan, and in a few months, you're going to be stressing trying to pay that loan and wishing you would have never signed it to begin with. But in that moment, you needed that TV so bad that you weren't willing to refocus your thoughts and recognize there is a way to win in this moment, but this is just the solution I want. That's what some of you need to know. And they're saying if you do put too much on you, it is going to come back and bite you in the butt. So be careful. All right. Give me a little bit of future energy. So I see you embracing some sort of deep friendship or true love. I'm seeing a lot of choices coming from the heart. I'm seeing you having healthy relationships, healthy friendships. Some of you are going to be falling in love here in your near future. It's going to be someone who makes your heart flutter. This person's going to be very romantic. This relationship's going to start very suddenly. This person could have a love for art. They could have a love for music. They could have a love for the things that you have a love for. So if you have a love for animals, they might have a love for animals. If you have a love for music, they might have a love for music. This person is going to make your heart flutter. And the conversations that you guys have are also going to make your heart flutter. But they are telling me that you need to be conscious that this relationship might be romantic. And this person might be very flirtatious. And this might be a lot of fun. But your intuition might tell you that this will end up becoming unbalanced. This is what I'm getting. Some of you, this relationship's going to become unbalanced. And I think you're going to pull back from this person. You're going to maybe take a vacation from them. Go take a few days from them. Go rest. Maybe go take a nap from them. And then I think you're going to come back and recognize that you feeling like there was a lack of balance could have been unnecessary worry or could have been fear and not necessarily reality. Because I'm seeing this relationship being deep, being intimate. But I'm saying that maybe the choices from love and the choices from your guys' heart might be different. So the way that you show love might not be the way that they show love and vice versa. So if you show up thinking, well, I loved them 15 times today and they loved me twice, that's fucking unfair. You're very quickly going to get set in the, well, I'm now resenting you because I feel like I'm doing more. Love does not keep count. Love does not keep track. It doesn't. Now, I will say this because I don't want people to get it twisted. There is a difference between you recognizing, oh wait, this is unrequited and 100% one way versus, okay, we're dating, we're in love, but I feel like I'm constantly carrying the relationship. I feel that you guys love differently. So if you start overthinking it too much, it's going to seem like it's unbalanced when it's not. The way that they love you and the way that they express their love to you might be differently. Here's an example. I know of a lot of women who have been told, oh, well, your husband doesn't love you because he doesn't write all over your Facebook that he loves you and he's not posting you everywhere. But that woman will then respond, he doesn't love me the way that you think he should love me, but he does. He fills up my car for me. He takes care of me. If I need him, he picks up the phone. If I need anything from him or if I need someone to show up for me, he does that. So some people might not see it as love. And some people might even see it as it being unbalanced because, well, you do all of this for him and he doesn't do that. But sometimes the little moments that someone is showing you that they love you might not be the biggest. It might be them washing your laundry, filling up your car, bringing you food to work, picking up the phone and saying, hey, I thought about you and I care about you, miss you, just wanted to see how you were. That can be showing someone love without screaming, I fucking love you. And I feel for some of you that if you get too caught up, you might think that this relationship is lacking balance when it doesn't. It's just very different than what I think you expected or what you thought love looked like. They're saying be practical about how you proceed. You need to be sensible. You need to be conscious of where you're overthinking and where you're being practical. And if you ever feel like, okay, I'm overthinking, what should I do? Say something to your partner. Hey, I've been feeling like this has been unbalanced lately and I'm kind of gaslighting myself. So can you help me out here? Am I tripping or are you detaching? If you're with someone and you don't trust them, that is a bigger problem than a relationship possibly being a little unbalanced. I don't think this relationship's unbalanced. I think that's unnecessary worry because you're scared of giving too much and looking back and going, they never gave to me. But I think if you really take a step back in the future and you look, you're going to see that this person's very generous. They just might have a very practical way of showing you their love. Again, taking care of you. If you got an appointment that needs to be taken care of, they'll do it. Anything, I mean, it could be something as simple as, I have groceries in the car, I'll carry them in for you. Some people might be like, that's not love. I don't like carrying groceries, so if I carry your groceries, that is love. And don't let nobody tell you otherwise. That's what I'm getting here. So keep that in mind with someone that you could be dealing with in your future. You might try to get in your head and go, but you know, I'm always telling them that I care about them and that I'm in love with them and that I couldn't live without them, but they never say that to me. That doesn't mean that they don't think it. You might just be a little more comfortable showing up in that way. That just might be the way that you show up in this relationship. Yeah, being recognized, working well with this person. You're going to notice that this person's going to pay very, very close attention to you. And that's going to be another way that you're going to know that they love you, is because this person's going to want to learn about you. They're going to pay very close attention to you. So you could say something as simple as, oh my God, my favorite food is Texas Roadhouse. Guess who's coming home tomorrow with Texas Roadhouse? Again, some people might be like, oh, well, that's not love. All of us could do that. Could you though? Because I know a lot of people who don't listen with their ears at all. I know a lot of people who you can date them for 5+ years and say, what's my favorite food? And they're going to look at you and go, you have a favorite food? That again is a love language. Listening and wanting you to feel seen and heard. That is a love language. So I think you're going to need to recognize that someone around you really loves you and cares about you and is recognizing you. And in their eyes, you have an excellent reputation. You are amazing, and they want you to know that. But if you get very caught up in, well, so-and-so's husband treats her this way, so-and-so's boyfriend treats her this way, they buy them flowers, and they buy them rings, and they buy them brand new cars, and they cook them dinner every night, you are then going to think that you're not being loved correctly or that it isn't enough, when it's more than enough. It's just maybe not what others do. It's not how others show up. And that's because this is what's best for you. You and this person work very well with one another. Very well with one another. So for a lot of you, this is going to be, if you're younger, you're going to be with this person for 3 decades plus. If you're older, I mean, we're talking 8+ years. Now, see, this is, when I'm talking about older, I can even mean in your 70s, which is why I have to be careful with time frames, because I feel like for a lot of you, this is going to be the person you close your life out with. But I feel that there could also be an energy here of you trying to make sure you're paying attention to the signs and you're not missing anything that would make this a clear choice. So you might be on hyper alert. Be careful of that. You and this person might also be very different as well, and that could be something that you're scared of, because I'm seeing a dog and I'm seeing a wolf. Now, most people, if you ask them, they would say that a dog and a wolf can't cohabitate. I know of someone who has a dog and a wolf as animals, and they cohabitate. So there could be something about that as well, where you feel like, well, maybe we're not meant for each other. Maybe we're not right for each other. Maybe we're too different. Maybe we show up differently. But maybe that's what you guys need. Maybe that's what you need. Okay. I'm going to leave this here. Have a blessed day.